We are counting down the weeks and episodes to the 30th of June and the 100th episode. Cherie and I will be co-starring on the 100th episode, so she can ask me some curly questions and make sure I'm 100% honest with you all. We have an awesome giveaway happening on the 100th episode, so make sure you listen really close to be eligible for one of the items from the giveaway. For new listeners, you need to leave a review on Apple Podcasts before we draw the Bushranger Battery Commercial Multi-Tool Kit valued at $18.49. For those who have been listening the whole time and already have left a review, make sure you share your favourite moment from the existing episodes. If you share it on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, make sure you tag Aussie Lawn Stars or myself, Gary Ashton, so you have the chance to win one of the following: an Ego blower kit valued at $850, Cox Drive 21 self-propelled commercial mower valued at $1,500, and Bushranger Battery Commercial Bipper Dipper kit valued at $749. And every listener can get a massive 15% off at www.mowermerch.com.au using the discount code LawnStars for the entire month of July. Aussie Lawn Stars now has an email address. If you'd like to contact me, you can find Aussie Lawn Stars on Facebook, Instagram and by email aussielawnstars@icloud.com. You'll find me lurking around LMCA and Aussie professional lawn contractors as Gary Ashton. I've been on the hunt for a better blower, and the Ego 7654 pumps out 1300 metres an hour, all while delivering great run times. The kit with 2 batteries has no problem completing a typical residential day, and it's my go-to handheld blower every time. Today we've got Barry, the CEO of Ego Power Plus Australia, back for a review of the Ego tools that I am using and some battery problems I've encountered over the last 4 years of battery experience that I have. Barry also shares an exclusive new release on the tools that are about to hit our market. There's several tools in the lineup that get me excited. Listen closely to see what we've got to share.
Welcome to Aussie Lawn Stars, the fresh cut lawn care podcast. We've got Aussie legends and cowboys, seasons and grasses, and we're talking about unique equipment. Prepare to hear the real-life tales of local stars. Plus, we have the latest equipment, reviews, and exciting interviews with the best suppliers. We will dig the fertile field of stories from part-time solo operators who are living the life, along with those of growth-focused entrepreneurs, identifying what makes a business successful. We really do cover it all.
Hey, welcome to the dungeon, Barry. How you doing?
Hey, Gaz. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm not sure if I'm welcoming you to my dungeon or if I'm entering your dungeon there.
Well, I guess you're entering mine at the moment, mate, with the branding I've got in the background, but you're more than welcome here.
Looks interesting. Now, I want to start the podcast by saying thank you for coming on the podcast and thank you for being a supporter of the podcast. You've been one of the earliest supporters for the podcast, and for that I'm eternally grateful.
Oh, look, yeah, appreciate the acknowledgement, mate. But, look, one of our objectives as a reasonably new brand to Australia and certainly in the battery is to provide that support to the commercial market. Batteries evolving pretty quickly. So, wherever we can help to educate and support, we do.
And on that note, I've been rather impressed, and I said this last time we chatted, I was rather impressed by the effort you've gone to reach out to the commercial contractor market and provide them with support all round. So that's one of the reasons why I got you in the first time, and it's good to see you're still doing that. I believe we're going to talk about some new products soon, but they're going to be more aimed at the commercial contractors.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I guess, we've got some longevity as a brand. Well, I guess we're reasonably new into the market, but certainly we have some long-term plans to continue in the market. So we believe that the residential market has accepted battery very well, and the commercial market is still converting. And battery is still a small piece of that market because obviously it's still dominated by petrol. So this is for the longer term. We need to provide that support. We need to provide that education. Simple. And we'll continue to be there. But it's going to be an interesting world.
You've provided a lot of support to commercial use with the residential range of products that you use, and I'm pretty critical of residential machines being used in a commercial space, but of the Ego tools I've used so far, I must say I'm pretty impressed with them, and they hold their own. So I'm talking specifically about the 1300 metre per hour blower.
Right behind me.
That one is.
That one there.
I was skeptical when we talked about it before, but since I've been using it, that sits in the back of my buggy, and it's my go-to blower unless I need the oomph of a backpack blower.
Yeah, Gaz, look, we're the first ones to admit that we don't, we have a system, a battery system that isn't for everyone. Certainly it suits the domestic market at the moment, but, and we agree with a lot of the commercial guys that say that battery's not quite there yet, but there has to be an alternative and the best option when you've got market restrictions, whether it's noise pollution, whether it's noises around retirement villages or schools, but also the storage, transportation of fuel. So, look, we believe we've got some product that is a best option to petrol to meet those new market expectations. So, look, all our domestic stuff does carry a 12-month commercial warranty, and we stand by that. So, but we also realise, from a commercial standpoint, it's a tool for income. So, we're trying to put as much emphasis and priority as much as we can behind it to get that tool back in the hands. And we're still, attempting to improve that almost daily as we go forward with new commercial for 2023.
Yep. When you mentioned a lot of contractors are saying battery is not quite there yet, and you even go as far as to agree with that, I like to push back on that point a lot. And
Sure.
If you're talking about, say, the Select Cut 52, that's like what I've used of that mower, I would put that beside a Honda commercial machine and say, show me which one's better. And yes, you could argue that the petrol machine with that, or a whippersnapper or a hedge trimmer, is still a better machine in some ways if you're pushing things to the limit. As a contractor, we do push things to the limit. But if you look at 98% of what I do on a daily basis, does the battery gear do as good a job as the petrol job? And the answer is maybe better than the petrol does.
Yeah.
So
yeah, look, I guess let me refine my comment, and that is that battery doesn't suit everyone because of the application. And I think for those that are doing more maintenance work, absolutely battery suits. But I guess I'm more referring to what is true commercial. So we within our range, we don't have a true commercial mower, but we're a best option to a true commercial battery mower. We believe there's only one in the market, and it's very expensive at this stage. So, we're giving the option where we can, and obviously it's the commercial decision, the commercial user's decision on whether they want to buy into it or not to overcome a market restriction. And that's where we've found that our product has been accepted, whether it is a Select Cut or a blower that's got a 1300 cube velocity, even some of our line trimmers. So noise pollution is becoming a big thing in the market, and we believe we've got some of the best options in the market for it. Yeah, and that's why we attach a 12-month commercial warranty.
I have found that with the noise pollution side of things, commercial customers have complained about noise when I'm using petrol gear. And when I first switched to battery gear, those commercial customers were the first ones to go, hey, you can do your job during business hours and it doesn't cause a problem for us.
Yeah. Look, with our market penetration and dealing with a lot of end users for demonstrations and loan tools, etc., we've come to talk to some retirement villages, some schools, and they're all now really considering about banning petrol on site simply because of that noise pollution. So if we talk about retirement villages, you've got seniors there that don't want to be hearing a screaming backpack petrol blower. Schools, it's 8:30 a.m. tools down, right? Because the kids need to learn and they don't need the distraction in the background with noise. So we're seeing more and more of that becoming prolific within the market in terms of, when the commercial guys are going on site, they just simply cannot go forward with petrol because of that noise.
Yeah.
Yep. It's about having that offer to overcome those restrictions. So, and we feel we've got some of them. They're not true commercial products, but we're still standing behind the quality of the product with the 12-month warranty. Yes, we know that sometimes the products may get overused for application versus what they're intended for. But you got to take the good with the bad, but we still stand behind our quality and our performance.
Yeah, for sure. One of the issues I've seen come up, and this is me as an employer, when I'm working on a commercial site and I've got an employee working over the other side of the commercial site, all I can hear is the noise of that petrol backpack blower. And it's loud. And if I can hear it like that, then chances are that a lot of people can hear it in their offices or commercial environments, and it's going to be interfering with their work. So that's one of those tools. I can understand why it's getting legislated out and why, places like California have made the decision to get rid of petrol leaf blowers. And it's a matter of time before it starts impacting us here, because I know when I run around with the battery leaf blower, it sounds like a vacuum cleaner and it's not that intrusive. Look,
we're certainly seeing and hearing more of it, mate. It's if the commercial market aren't feeling it now, they soon will be. I believe sooner rather than later, because all it takes is one to implement that compliance, and then guess what? The rest will follow. It's just a matter of time. It's not a case of if, but when. And you're right, the voice or the noise coming out of California and what they want to do, that's now become global. That's worldwide. Everyone's talking about it. Yeah. Everyone's thinking about it. The government's thinking about, how can they become more sustainably responsible, environmentally friendly. So more and more businesses are considering it.
And I've been an earlier adopter for battery tools. Yeah, starting back in early 2019, I adopted battery for my first tools. So as an employer, when I'm listening to my employees working and I'm going, okay, when they're using a small 2-stroke petrol engine, I can appreciate that that's going to be frustrating people. So I'm looking at it from that point of view, going, I want to make the move, particularly with that backpack blower. And I was talking to Will Harford from Rosebud Mowers on the most recent episode of the podcast, and saying to him, I really want to get rid of my petrol backpack blower, but there's no battery alternatives available that are going to impress me yet.
Well, there will be in 2023. And that's one of those products I'd like to talk to throughout this. Yeah,
so before we start touching on some of the new products that you've got coming along, I want to put you under a little bit of pressure. And I know that's bold coming from a podcaster talking to the general manager or CEO for Ego Australia, Chevron.
Chevron. Yeah, Chevron's into fuel. We're totally against fuel.
We're moving away from Chevron.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if I put you under a little bit of pressure, I'm sure you can handle it. But I'm getting couple of issues that come up. I watch the space on social media pretty closely, and I still see people complaining about the red ring of death, about batteries with warranty issues. And reading between the lines, I look at some of the people complaining about warranty issues and I go, but they obviously don't know that Barry represents Ego really well when it comes to social media and working with contractors. But can we touch on that? I know we've touched on it previously, but in terms of the red ring of death and some of the actual fault lights that we can see on a battery, that might help people to understand them a little bit better.
Yeah, sure. Look, I guess we're a business that doesn't profess to have product that doesn't break down. That's the nature of the beast with anything with moving parts and anything with batteries that can be sensitive to both cold and as well as heat. But if we really put it into perspective, the amount of social posts we see is minimal in regards to the amount of tens of thousands of batteries we sell and give away. So let's put that into perspective. When we look at, and we monitor our rate of return on all our products, especially with batteries, but our rate of return across all our different amp hour batteries are not exceeding the market expectations. So I think we just got to put that into perspective. But look,
can I just interrupt you? I have a spy or a mole that tells me exactly the same thing, and that spy is Tom Benson. So he's my local go-to mower shop Ego dealer, and I go to him for Husky and I go to him for Ego. So I sat down with him and said, "Tell me, Tom, what's the story? Is Ego's warranty any better or worse than any other brand?" And he's like, "No, they're not. Their rate of return's no better or worse, and in terms of comparing them, The inside information seems to be that.
Yeah, well, I like Tom for his comments, but also, he seems to be a smart operator, mate. And, I watch his posts with interest. He's very constructive in the way that he responds. So, the man knows his business. He knows the market. So he's one that, everyone should really listen to, because he's been around, a long time. But at the end of the day, we have some advanced technology within our batteries, and I've got one here for argument's sake. When it comes to, and I'm going to try and use my camera, but when it comes to protecting the electronics, we have a epoxy coating, so that'll keep it away from the dust and the water. So, that's all full of electronics. So from that point of view, it's fairly well protected. But we're still using...
totally seals the electronic side of the battery.
Totally seals the electronic side of things.
Weatherproof.
Correct, absolutely.
Have you tested that underwater? Like how long it lasts underwater?
Well, it's IP4 rated, so it's more splash proof. It's not designed for submerging, but at the end of the day, if the guy's out in the weather, in the rain, it's still going to be protected.
Yes.
The other feature is we have an arc design, and it's still unique. So Ego's really been in the market since 2014. So what this does is really, and I'm going to pull this apart, but what it does is it exposes all the cells to the outer edge of the casing. So therefore, it allows the airflow. And that's critical to maintaining the temperature within the battery. But the other thing is too
that was a acronym ARC. I don't know. It's like I don't know what the acronym stands for, but you've corrected me on that, and you've said no. ARC is the shape of the battery.
It's the shape of an battery. Arc. Yeah, it's the shape of the battery. You'll notice once again the electronics are also coated. But you also notice that there's a wire running from the electronics to each of the individual cells. So there's a power management behind that each cell is actually monitored. So if one is less of a charge versus another, it actually equalizes, rather than just having a couple of sensors that control the whole battery. We have sensors on every individual cell. Then on top of that, you might notice there's a bit of a ridge on each of the cells. And that's, I'll put it up a little bit closer, but there's a bit of a ridge there. Yeah, that's what we call a phase change material. And what this phase change material does is when it's going through the process through application, it remains solid. But when the battery starts hitting 50 degrees, it starts to liquefy. So that's another cooling process for the cells. So, and then once the battery's finished being used and starts cooling down, then that phase change starts to solidify again. So we've got a lot of power management. We've got a lot of technology behind the battery. So you talk about the red ring of death. It's a myth. The only way to tell if a battery is truly faulty is when it starts flashing green and red. That's the faulty indication. Generally, if it's red, it could be because it's been overheated, it's gone through some high torque. It could be in self-diagnosis mode. So the best way to overcome that is to press the button for a minimum of 3 seconds until the lights reset, and generally that will reset. But look, if there's any issues with batteries, we're always going to look into it, and we have a replacement on batteries when we've been able to test it. So, we have 12-month commercial warranty on our batteries. And when you think about the charge cycles and the difference between residential use versus commercial use, it's all relative.
And out of all the companies in Australia that sell or distribute battery-powered OPE, you're the only one I know that puts a face on social media and says, hey, I'm reachable. You can contact me if you've got a problem and I'll help you resolve it.
Gaz, it's become more of a full-time job than my full-time job. So, look, online is 24/7. For me, it's become a learning platform, but it's become a relationship platform as well. We're not there. We're there to learn. As I said before, commercial's not quite there yet. So we're learning commercial, and, what we've learned out of platforms like LMCA and others is that we know what the market expectation is. So we've worked to that. Yeah. We may have, a lot of product, due to economies of scale, may be manufactured for the US, but we modify it for the Australian market and even for New Zealand. Okay. So height of cut on mowers is a lot higher than that in Oz because we modify it accordingly. So that's something that we focus on. But we're there for support. We're there to learn. We're there for support, and we've built some relationships along the way, which has been great.
That's great. It's good to know.
So look, I do see them myself, mate, in terms of the some of the posts on our batteries, and we never discount them. We'll always accept responsibility where there is a fault, and if it's under warranty, we'll replace it. But we'll work with individuals as we have been doing.
So I have been using a couple of Ego tools now for a while, and I'm finding a couple of issues come up with batteries. And I think we've touched on some temperature issues in our previous episode.
Yeah.
But let's walk through this at the moment. One of the things I'm noticing is it's not just when the batteries get hot that you get a temperature problem. It's also when they're cold. So New South Wales, and I'm talking Central Coast, this morning the frost was like snow on the ground. And I got out there with the Ego blower and started blowing all those autumn leaves off the roads and out from in front of offices, and I could just watch that battery just going like a fuel gauge. Not quite that fast, but no, it's certainly a lot more noticeable than when the temperature's, say, 20 degrees.
Yeah. So look, I guess the optimal storage or the optimal temperature for a battery in storage or even pre-application is 10 degrees to 26 degrees. So if you're experiencing a cold morning, as you just described, I would suggest throw it on the charger, let the charger do its job, getting it to that optimal temperature. And the same applies even to anything over 26 degrees. And the pre-application is so important because let's talk about during summer, if the battery heats up to 40, 50 degrees, our battery has a power management at 70 degrees. So if you're putting it into the machine at 40, 50 degrees because you've got it on the back of the ute or in the dog box without a fan or cooling mechanism, your battery's already hot before you pull the trigger. And then, of course, when you pull the trigger, you're adding more heat to it again. So once it hits 70 degrees, it's going to shut down because that's the power management to protect the battery. So in more ways than one. So, and then post-application, if it is hot on a 40-degree day, don't go putting it straight on the charger. Let it cool down and then let the battery do its job, because the charger does have a dual fan. But the dual fan on a 40-degree day is only going to suck in hot air. Yes, it's going to cool it down, but it's still pushing it into a hot battery. So it's really about understanding, how a battery works below and above the optimal temperature. So
we talked about this last time about using an insulated box or an esky to store batteries in because it will protect it from those extreme temperatures a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And what you're saying at the moment is if I charge the battery directly before use, that will actually help to get it up to temperature a bit more so that it handles that run time better.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting what some individuals have done to store the batteries, and we hear it with all brands. Dog boxes that have got fans in it and have been insulated, or they're using dry eskies because you've got to protect the batteries from moisture as well. I've even heard of the old shopping bag down on the front floor, but we've developed a 6-pack portable storage and mobile charger as well. That also helps to maintain the right battery temperature. So, you can whack that on the back of the truck or at home, and you can charge it up and you can plug it in and charge up the 6 batteries that are in there. So, we've come up with a solution, but there's many more solutions as part of our plan going forward.
Yeah, sounds great. We'll have to touch on some of those plans that you've got coming forward. I'm really curious to know, because we've heard little snippets of information here and there, but Ego's bringing more commercial tools, a full commercial range to Australia.
We are. So it's not just what we have planned for 23, but it's beyond. And that's what I'm saying is that, I think since we launched the range in late 2014, it's been more about residential, but the market restrictions are affecting the commercial guy. We need to put a lot more focus in it, and we're releasing a good range of commercial this year, which I'd like to talk to at the end. And that's going to meet and exceed some of those market expectations, but it's what's beyond, I think, is quite exciting.
Yeah.
So, but look, guys, what we're doing for 2023 is we have a vast range of new and multi-generational upgrades. So we actually have 19 new products hitting 2023. So that's a combination of both skins and as well as kits. But we have 9 multi-generational upgrades. So, what we've already got, we've been able to improve. And there's a domestic product there that we know the commercial market are buying simply because of the versatility of it and the diversity of it being the multi-tool. So we've even improved that even further. But that's still a domestic product at the moment, still carrying a 12-month warranty. But we see all the positive comments that come from our multi-tool, especially from the trimmer.
I've found the domestic quality products that I've been using, when you put them beside a commercial petrol machine for daily maintenance work, that the battery machine, the Ego, is my preferred tool to go to for mowing, for blowing, for doing those jobs. Even though they're residential quality, they rate really well and they keep up with the demands of a contractor, unless you're talking those extreme jobs where they're overgrown jobs or putting extra load on a machine. That's where you notice the difference. Look,
I guess we view it in, it's either maintenance or it's slashing. So these are maintenance products. And yes, we regard our quality and our performance, we rate it highly for that residential market, but we know it's been bought commercially. And those who are using it for what it's intended are enjoying the runtime, the performance, etc. Those who may be putting it through its paces, they're still enjoying it, but it's the way that they work it as well. So I think it's a bit of a learning on battery as well, that it can be used for long grass, but you're not going to be able to start it on level 1. Start it at the highest and work it down. It's certainly not intended for that, but we know through what's been shared, it can certainly manage it in some instances. So
I've found with the Select Cut 52, I think it's about a 50-minute runtime on the 10 amp battery and about a 1 hour charge time.
Correct.
So with that machine doing maintenance work, it does it with a breeze. It's just easy work for that machine. It's not like it's loading or labouring. It's just working really well. And I've put it through some things that, like you say, they're not really designed for doing, and it's still really impressive. The difference, I've tried to describe it to other people in terms of how the battery machines, and this goes across the range and across other brands as well, when you have a battery-powered motor under load and you pull the trigger to start it, the safety prevents the motor from spinning.
Correct.
So also when you have a motor that you get increasing load on when it is working, it will cut out without much warning, whereas a petrol machine tends to start, you notice the labouring of the petrol engine before it actually stalls. So there's a couple of small differences there, but if you acknowledge how they work differently, so you make sure you start the electric engine or motor unloaded and you keep an eye on where you know it's going to be loaded, then you can do those overgrown jobs with that machine, and it does it exceedingly well.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we've got power management incorporated, not just the battery, but in some of the products as well. So, that's to protect not only the product, but also to protect the battery. And we don't apologise for that because, it's a different technology than that of petrol. So, I guess it's just really thinking about the application as opposed to battery and working it accordingly. But, yeah, absolutely. Don't start it under load, start it without load, and then, push it forward.
Yeah,
so,
but given that is not a commercial product and it performs really well, I can't wait to see what's going to come when you've got a commercial machine.
it's quite exciting, Gaz. In fact,
Yeah.
this will be an exclusive for this podcast, but I'm going to talk to a mower that I know that the Aussie commercial market has been asking for some time, that we've only just made a decision on, and that's all about cost certification, economies of scale, but we've been able to do it. So how about we start with the new ZTRs? So I won't go into great detail, but I mean they're a domestic unit as well. So we launched our first last year, the 42-inch lap, which was a pressed deck. We've now launched its better brother with a e-steer, which is basically a Formula One steering wheel with all your functions in line of sight. It's all at a fingertip. It controls your speed of your blades, your speed of your mower or of your ZTR. It tells you your battery storage. It tells you how much charge is left, etc., etc. So it's all at a fingertip.
Then we've got sound like a game of Mario Kart.
Well, the thing is, this is if you're into that. But the thing is, this is so much more intuitive because it drives like a car, but it maneuvers like a ZTR. I should be in poetry. It's a bit of rhyme there, but it does. It's so intuitive because now you've got an accelerator and you've got a steering wheel. You haven't got a lap bar for forward and backward motion and as well as steer. So for the domestic market, it's overcoming that challenge of potentially a lap bar for a first-time user. And we believe this could take some of that tractor market as well.
Yeah.
Then you got its bigger brother, the 52-inch. So we got a fab deck on this. This is still domestic, but we still attach a 12-month commercial warranty. So with both of these units, they now come with four 12 amp hour batteries. So the 42-inch e-steer will do up to 2.5 acres. The 52 will do up to 3. But they both have the provision for 6 amp hour batteries. And charge times, on the 42-inch e-steer, you're looking at 2.3 hours, and then that on the 52-inch is the same. But the run times on the 42-inch e-steer, you're looking at around 105 minutes on the 4 12 amps. If you had the 6, then that increases to 160 minutes. So, but that's up to, right? So that depends on grass conditions, height, wet, dry, etc. But we try to give some guide. And then the 52 on the 4x12s, that has up to 80 minutes in terms of run time, or 11,000 square metres of area per charge. But if you did your 6x12 amp hours, then you're looking at 120 minutes run time as well, up to.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's something people need to understand if they haven't used battery before, is that your best runtime is when you're doing the easiest work. So when you're saying it'll go up to 120 minutes, if you're doing routine maintenance, that's what you're aiming at. If you're doing really thick grass or really tall grass, then your runtime drops off according to the amount of load that's on the motor.
Absolutely, and of course, as I mentioned before, I mean, all our ZTRs have got the LCD dashboard, so you can control your blade speed, you can control the speed of the ZTR. That all has an effect, and that's not unique to Ego. That's with any battery product. That the more that you control it, the longer your runtime is. The more that you don't control it, the less your runtime's going to be.
Yeah, I've used quite a few brands with battery gear now, and it is across the board. It's all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's the way batteries function.
But the 52-inch fab, we're actually looking forward. That's only just landed in the Aussie market about a month ago, and already we've seen a significant take-up. But, both of those have cutting heights of 25 to 100 mil. But we know over in the US it starts at 38. But we modified it for the Aussie conditions. Anything lower, it's going to put drag on it, it's going to put torque, and it's going to affect runtime. So, as much as we'd like to, we've got to be smart about it as well.
Even at 25 mil cut height, you're still needing a very smooth lawn to be able to do that without getting those drag and torque issues.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely.
But it's good that you've got it.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
It's certainly good that you've got it changed for the Australian conditions to be able to do those lower cut heights.
Yep. Look, we've even gone as far as bringing in bumper bars. We've now got canopies. We've now got carry baskets, because the beauty of our ZTRs is what powers a ZTR will also power our blowers, our line trimmers. So if you've got a carry basket with a blower and you're off site or away from, the shed, the car, then you just interchange the battery from the ZTR into your blower and or the line trimmer and complete the job without having to go back and forth.
Yeah, brilliant.
And that's quite unique.
Yes, certainly is. So that's you're saying the one with the fab deck is still really not a commercial machine.
No, we still regard it as a domestic machine. But as I said, we do throw a 12-month commercial warranty on it.
Yep.
This has 5 motors on it, so 2 of them are driving the rear wheels, and then we've got 3 individuals driving each blade. So you got your drive motors, and then you have your bar motors as well. So,
and as we know, a lot of commercial contractors buy residential or domestic quality gear, regardless of whether it's battery or petrol.
Yeah, correct.
So I know we've seen a couple of the Ego ZTRs out there getting used commercially.
Yeah, look, I'm certainly aware of quite a few individuals that are doing it, and they're. I guess they're learning it in terms of speed in blades and as well as the ZTR, and they're finding the optimal for their application, and they will continue to learn until they get it right. If you think you can jump into a battery ZTR and get your maximum runtime by flicking everything up to high speed and lowest, it's not going to happen. We're going to be the first ones to tell you that. So it's about trial by error, and once you get it, the feedback has been that it's been great. So, but it's for maintenance. It's not for slashing.
Yes. So they're really interesting, the ZTRs.
Aussie Lawn Stars tells you about trimmer bars and trailer scars. We've got the stories, the advice, and insights you want to hear.
I've recently been running the Ego Select Cut 52cm mower. It's available in a contractor's kit specifically for those of us running them all day. 2 10-amp-hour batteries and the turbocharger are all included in the contractor kit, bringing it in at $17.99. When mowing maintained lawns, you'll never run out of battery power as it recharges a 10-amp battery in 60 minutes. If you don't have access to charging while you work, you'll get through an average 8-hour residential day with 4 to 5 10-amp-hour batteries. This will vary significantly depending on the type of grass and frequency of cut. As you well know, there are many variables on residential jobs that affect the amount of time you spend mowing and how much load you put on the mower. This is the first battery-powered mower I've used that is a serious alternative to petrol-powered push or self-propelled 21-inch mowers. While there are now several options in this space, Ego meets amazing value, and I'd rate it well above the consumer grade. In fact, I think it fills the prosumer niche in this category perfectly. Have you got anything else that you've released already this year?
No, that is the first 2. So they just dropped a month ago. But we're not far from dropping a multi-generational upgrade on our multi-tool. So our new multi-tool, it's going to have carbon fibre shaft. It's going to have a 2-speed selector, variable speed. We've been listening to those who have spoken about the uncomfortable trigger. We've improved the trigger for comfortability. That has variable speeds in it as well. It's an improved rear brushless motor as well. Now, it is, once again, it's domestic, but we know the commercial market are buying it. It still comes with a 12-month warranty. And we've done that. We've now upgraded this because the new our power load with carbon fibre will now attach to this power load, to this multi-tool, but it won't attach to the old power head as such.
Yep.
But it is a significant improvement. What we've also done is we've done some multi-generational upgrades in terms of kits. So we've done we will be doing a power load kit and as well as skin with a 5-amp-hour battery. We know the commercial market are loving the 5-amp-hour batteries in blowers and line trimmers and as well as the hedge trimmers. So this is where we're considering that commercial market as well for extended runtime.
Yep.
Our pole hedge trimmer will be upgraded as well with that new power head. Our pole saw will be the same. We've got a 4 kit that will be upgraded. We then have what we like to call the hamburger with the lot, including beetroot, and that's the big 7-piece kit. We're individuals who save a lot of money, and I'm talking close to $890 in savings by buying it in this kit form. So if you're serious in a multi-tool because of trailer storage, restrictions, challenges, then this is definitely the way to go.
A lot of people are buying multi-tools as a first option when they're starting business because they can buy one power head and have all of the different tools without buying, 7 different tools and power heads.
We were the first brand to launch a battery multi-tool into the market very early into our launch. We've been amazed by, watching this just grow because of that diversity and versatility of the tool itself. And we believe it's been mainly driven by the commercial market because of those storage restrictions, and certainly when it comes to the head trimmer mode as well. So it's a great volume driver for us. It's a huge volume driver for us.
Yeah. Well, I get asked by friends and family all the time, I want to buy something for my work at home. What tool do you recommend? And often I'm pointing them towards a multi-tool and just going, okay, this multi-tool is going to give you a stronger whippersnipper and a better hedge trimmer than what you'll get if you're buying the dedicated tools most of the time. And then you've got the option of just changing that head over to whatever tool you choose.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the line trimmer too, because the power load is a domestic product. So therefore, it's going to spin clockwise. But we do have a line trimmer in the range that spins anti-clockwise. So we're catering for both markets. We understand the commercial market loves the anti-clockwise. So, we're catering for that on what we do, anything that is either a commercial option in the domestic range or a true commercial offering as well.
Yep. Awesome.
So let's talk about charging on the go, Gaz. Charging on the go. We've got a little 150 watt inverter that we know a lot of the guys are buying now for their phones and their laptops. We're about to introduce a 400 watt inverter as well. Now this one's going to be pure sine wave. It'll be available in both kit form and as well as skin form. This is going to have one 240 volt plug. It's going to have a USB-C port, a USB-C PD port, and a USB-A port. So doesn't matter what sort of power you need, you're going to get it. And in the kit form, that'll come with a 5 amp hour battery and the rapid charger as well.
Nice. Yeah, that covers a lot of people if they want to be charging their phone or heating their coffee or whatever it might be.
Mobile charge on the go, mate. And look, there's not a lot of options out there to keep a laptop charged or a tablet charged. So, we're providing that option now with plenty of power and storage to do so. Something we have done to consider the commercial market, you look at some of these commercial guys and they might have 15, 20 batteries because I keep seeing it. They take advantage of our more buzz for your buck battery redemption and they're getting batteries for free, which is great that they're taking advantage of it. But we know that there's a lot of purchase out there because we see the growth in our individual battery sales. So what we're actually doing this year is we're releasing 2 battery packs in 5 amp, 7.5 and as well as 10 amp. So there's a saving to each of those 2 battery packs. So we've done that with commercial in mind. So, if someone wants to buy 2 10 amps in this twin pack, they're going to save $100. That's at least 2 slabs, mate. So,
for somebody like myself, that makes a lot of sense. If you're running the battery tools already and then you need a few extra batteries so you can get through a whole day on a residential run, or you're going camping for the weekend, and I've found I've been doing this for the last few years. It's like I'll take a couple of Makita batteries and put a work light out there while I'm camping, or I'll take a Ryobi battery and do something with that. So it's great that you've got the options there with the inverters. That those sort of tools, I can see a lot of contractors going, I'm taking my Ego battery when I'm going camping.
Yeah, look, and I think, the inverter, a quick story, but, I was camping once upon a time, and the Australian Open was on, and I had a 32-inch, and the rabbit ears all playing off a 150 watt. So I'll certainly be investing in the 400 watt. But the 2 battery packs that we talk to then just gives that extended runtime and that saving to the commercial guys. So might have one on the inverter, but you may have the other one on the blower or on the lawnmower. But we know that the commercial guys are investing in battery. A lot of those who were early adopters are now seeing and understanding the savings on battery versus that of fuel. And it's not just the cost of fuel. And let's face it, if you're in Oz, back in the day, we were experiencing $2.30, $2.40. The last time I filled up a car in New Zealand, it was $3.30. So, it's becoming bloody expensive to operate petrol products, and it doesn't matter what it is.
That's for sure.
Then you've got the maintenance on top of that as well too, right?
Yeah, and that's a major thing that a lot of people don't understand. I remember the first time I talked about a battery-powered mower, people were looking at, and it was a ZTR, they're looking at it, they're going, well, you're not saving any money because you've still got belts, and it's like, no, you don't.
Yep.
No belts, no hydros.
Correct. But it's also the downtime of that repair. Now, whether you do it yourself or whether you get, a service agent to do it, there's still the downtime, right? So, look, I guess the early adopters we've seen that are actually investing in more than one product too. So, if one's equipped for mulching and the other one's equipped for catching, how dare I bring that up? But, we're seeing individuals that are equipping their product differently because it's becoming a longer term investment.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
It does, mate. It does. So let's talk about next gen commercial.
Yes, let's do that. I am excited.
All right. So first up, next gen commercial. So what we're giving the commercial guys is the ability of either battery on board, or if you want to go the backpack. So it's multiple power for depending on the application. So, if you're doing maintenance work, then it might be battery on board. But if you're doing full-time slashing with a brush cutter and you need it for hours on end, then backpack's your answer. So we've got a commercial backpack, true commercial backpack that's 1,568 watt hours that will run a brush cutter for up to 7 hours and a blower up to 5 hours.
Awesome.
We have the backpack link where you can put in your 12 amps that weigh close to 4 kilo, but 4 kilo is better on your back than it is in your hand, right? So especially if you're going to be doing some hedge trimming.
Yeah, well, if you've got an extra 4 kilos on your whippersnapper, that's doubling the weight of your whippersnapper. Whereas if you've got that on your back, you can go, all right, let's put 2 of them on the back.
Correct, absolutely. And because we're using an adapter, you can still interchange your tools, as simple as just swapping the tool around. Now, the other thing is we've added more durability. So as we've done on some of our domestic product, we've actually now all our commercial has carbon fiber shaft, which is a commercial grade of material. So it's adding durability, but it's taking weight out. So it's going to be more comfortable to the commercial guys. So the reason why we're focusing so much on commercial is the running costs that are involved, the noise pollution that we've already spoken about, the petrol restrictions we're starting to see more and more of. But more importantly, and we've seen it in a lot from the commercial market, is OH&S. Whether we talk HAV, so hand-arm vibration, or white finger, we see a lot of guys having to deal with that, and we've been able to get some guys back into their job by providing a tool that doesn't vibrate anywhere near that of a petrol. So that certainly helps.
My wife is a hand therapist, and I have over 13 years I've been doing this game. I have gone to her a lot of times because of that hand-arm vibration issue. And one of the first time I had an issue with it was when I went from a reasonably heavy commercial whippersnapper to a more lightweight whippersnapper. And the lighter weight had more vibrations to it. The vibrations traveled through my arms more because the heavier weight machine tends to
absorb it.
Yeah, absorb it through the machine.
Correct.
So I've had it countless times where it's been an issue with what we would typically label as tennis elbow. But
Yes.
not just that, a lot of wrist problems, thumb trigger problems, those sorts of things, all relating to those vibrations from consistent use commercially throughout the day.
Yep. It's a true medical condition. We see it a lot. We talk to the market a lot. We've got a couple of guys out on the road. Their job is just end user engagement. We're understanding the market. We're talking to them. We're converting them from petrol, etc. So, but we hear it a lot, and a lot of them are starting to look for battery because of that lower vibration that battery has to offer.
And it really does fix those problems.
It does.
Me, it has eliminated those issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get that feedback a lot, Gaz, a lot.
Yep.
So let's talk about the first commercial product. It's a 45 centimetre line trimmer. Our current unit is a 38 centimetre, so we're giving you a greater cutting swath. As I said, it's got a carbon fibre shaft. It has a 3-speed selector, which ranges between 3,500 to 5,200 RPMs. We've improved the brushless motor on it as well, so that has a brushless motor that delivers 1,600 watts worth of power, which we believe is equivalent to a 35cc petrol engine. We have a digital control panel, so that helps the guide to easily identify the gear it's in. It's IPX5 weather resistant, so it's an upgrade from our 4s. So, it can take on the wet a little bit more. But the line cap compatibility too is 2.4 to 3 mil.
Wow, that's truly impressive.
It is. So now all our commercial gear that we're bringing out towards the end of the year is sold in skins. Yeah. So, that's why we brought out 2 battery packs. But we know that the commercial market, those who are in it may look at converting, but there's other options going on. There's obviously things like battery redemptions that we do as well every now and then. Yeah. So that might help. But on a 5 amp hour battery, that'll give it a runtime of up to 60 minutes.
Do you know what the weight with a battery on that's going to be with a 5 amp battery? Because that's the go-to battery for a contractor.
Yeah, so our 5 amp hour battery is just a tad over 2 kg.
Yeah, but what's the weight of that?
Oh, the weight of the unit?
The unit with the battery on it.
Yeah, good question, mate. I haven't got that in front of me right now.
That's
you got me on that one. But look, what we've done, we can assure you that it's lighter than our current series because of that carbon fibre as well. Yeah, we've taken weight out of it, but I don't have the actual weight on it at this stage. But I think you'll find that that'll be extremely competitive in the market in what we're offering. So, its brother. We're actually bringing out a ball handle or a bike handle, depending on how you want to call it, but a true brush cutter. So, tri-metal blade, I should say. Has all the same sort of features, but it's not a variable. Sorry, it's not a 3-speed selector, so it's a variable speed in the trigger. But that's really dedicated towards that slashing application. So
that'll be joining the same power output.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. If we talk on this one, it's gonna be doing a little bit more harder work because you're using the tri-blade. So if you're using that on a 7.5, you'll get a 60-minute runtime for argument's sake. Same deal. You can either put it on the tool or throw it on your back with our backpack link.
But comparing that to petrol, 35cc petrol for a tri-blade brush cutter is quite exceptional. It's not very often that I would be looking at going bigger than a 35cc brush cutter. That's what we benchmarked it on, right? Yeah. So, that's the feedback we've been getting from the market. Yeah, that's awesome.
Look, the trimmer head's going to be interesting. We've been listening and we've been watching and we've been learning. So the trimmer head that we put on it is the best that we've actually launched into the market. We understand that a lot of the commercial guys want it as low to the ground as possible. So this has got a 30 mil distance from the bump base. So to get it any lower is almost encroaching on the structure of the actual trimmer head as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes in the market.
Are those interchangeable for people wanting to put a speed feed on there?
absolutely. You beat me to it. But we know that there's a lot of guys out there that love their preferred trimmer head. So not a problem. But it'll come with a trimmer head that we'll also have for sale separately as well. But it's our most improved for the commercial market.
Awesome. Look forward
Next
to seeing
one.
that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, look, we're keen on the line trimmer. We know that our current STX 3800 has been accepted well within the market because it is a true commercial. It's anti-clockwise. That's done well, but we expect this to do even better given the RPM, all of the above.
Yeah,
The next
and that-
one. Yep.
Before you go on to the next one, so you're saying that's a 45 centimetre cut?
Correct.
Yeah, so for me, going to that size, I don't take the guard off my machines anyway, but I can appreciate that extra cut size a lot without having to take the guard off.
Let's talk about the guard off.
Yes.
Because I know it's a bone of contention, those who do it and those who don't. At the end of the day, we're meeting Australian standards and compliance for safety, right? So the guard needs to be on from our perspective. And it does null and void the warranty because of that. If it is removed, we're obligated to meet that compliance. But it does put extra strain on the motor because the motor has been designed for a certain cutting swath. So if it does put extra pressure on the switch or the motor because of the extra heat or the extra torque that it's got to experience, it does become a bit of a challenge. So we're completely transparent on that. We're not going to hide behind that fact.
Yeah, of course. And I can appreciate that. Like I said, I don't take the guard off my machines regardless, but I can imagine for those that decide to take the guard off, the fact that they can run a 45 centimetre cut means that they're less likely to actually exceed that anyway.
I did see a post on one of the platforms, LMCA, the other day saying you need to increase your swath. Well, we know it was coming. we sort of hinted it was coming, but we're quite excited by it. Maybe the individual will refrain from taking the guard off because of that extra cut. But I think what your listeners need to also consider is that insurance component. That's another reason why we're complied to why we need to meet that compliance, especially from a product liability point of view as well.
Now, the other factor there, the guard off crowd will often look at, instead of taking the guard off, making the guard narrower, and I'm guessing the guard on that machine is not quite as big as some.
It has been reduced, yes.
Awesome. So there's several good reasons to not be taking the guard off. We won't convert everybody, but that's certainly compelling.
Just having a look see if I've actually got it here. But I know for a fact it is smaller than our current. Everything about our commercial is a complete improvement because of being on the platforms such as LMCA and learning what the expectations are. So.
People there are not backwards in telling you what they really think.
You know what? And happy to take it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But at the end of the day, we're there to provide the support. We're there to learn, and we're not there for any other reason. You know what? I spend a lot of time on these platforms, and I do it at a time that doesn't affect my family as well. So it is what it is, mate.
Yeah, that's important to get that family life balance.
Agree. Absolutely.
It's a challenge when I'm running a lawn care business and a podcast, but I'm sure I've got nothing on what your challenges are.
Yeah, mate, I just remain disciplined that I don't respond to posts with a beer.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Right. The next one is the 20 centimetre dedicated straight shaft edger. So, this is the head on it has been, it's got a low profile on it. So your line of sight is improved. You have a tool-free height adjustment. This also has a three speed adjustment as well. High efficiency brushless motor. This is equivalent to a 25cc petrol engine equivalent. It's also got an LED digital control panel. So, runtime on this, you're looking at up to 60 minutes on a 5 amp as well. So, but that's a dedicated straight edger.
You've answered all of the questions I was thinking about then, with the exception of one, and that is the blade that's on that. Can you just go to your local mower shop and order a blade from their multi-purpose?
Of course. Look,
blades?
it's a 200 mil blade. It has an adjustable guide wheel, so maximum cut depth of no, that's incorrect. But yeah, 200 mil blade,
right.
mate.
Yeah, awesome. That is a really interesting machine to be looking at and for the not too distant future.
Absolutely. Now, this the next two that I'm about to tell you, mate, is the one that I've wanted since Adam was a boy, and I'm quite excited that when this hits the market,
I have a feeling it's what I want too.
It could be, but I know that the market's been asking for it, and it's all about blade speed, and we're now delivering it. Yeah. So let me talk to the 56 volt short fixed pole hedge trimmer. So this also has a high efficiency brushless motor. This is also equivalent to a 25cc petrol engine, but it now has a 3-speed digital control panel, which rates at 3,200, 3,600 and 4,000 SPM, strokes per minute. So nice. We know that the market is after that higher speed, and we're now delivering it. So even for the short pole.
That's a short pole.
Yep.
What's the cut length on it?
The cut length, that's a 610 with a 28 mil cut.
28 mil girth. Nice.
Yeah, 28 mil cut. So
yeah.
What else about it? That's got a runtime of up to 75 minutes with a 2.5. So as the commercial market knows that, the hedge trimmers of the world are not a great power suck, but having a 2.5 on it is obviously going to take that weight out again, as well as the carbon fibre shaft.
Yeah, I'm going to be belting your door down asking for one of those.
Has that got a rotating head? Sorry, mate.
Has that got a rotating head, or is that
no?
Fixed?
That's a fixed pole hedger. But nice segue to the 56 volt articulating pole hedge trimmer. So this is the long pole. So the 3-speed control panel offers the same speeds of 3,200, 3,600 and 4,000. Also, it's got that magnesium alloy gearbox as well. This is also IPX5 weather, same blade, same cutting capacity, articulating head, 10 positions. And that has a runtime of 75 minutes with a 2.5 amp hour as well.
That's impressive. I'm looking forward to. I need to put an order in for one of each of those, I think.
Order number?
Order number 1.
Yeah, the date. Look, mate, out of all the commercial, they're the ones I'm most excited about, because I know that, the commercial market looks for hedge trimming in the off season as well, but it's almost a product that becomes a 12-month product of the year. So, we're looking forward to that, sort of setting the benchmark out in the market.
Looking at the other brands that are in battery at the moment, that seems to be one of the benchmarks. If you don't have a good short pole hedger, then you're not in the commercial space.
Agree. Hence the reason why there's been, look, Gaz, with any of our product, we do a lot of R&D on it, and we don't rush anything to market, and we're not going to apologise for being the first to market on everything. We've been the first to the market on a lot, but, we know that we may be second or third to the market, but we want to get it right, especially in the commercial market. It's a tool for income, and we need to gain the confidence of the commercial guys. So.
Well, I've got no questions to ask about those two tools. I think you've answered everything, that they are truly commercial machines, other than testing it and using it. That's the only way people are going to go, yep, that meets the mark.
Absolutely. Something else we've got in commercial is, and we've got this available in skin and as well as kit, is our new 1360 cubic meter brushless backpack blower. So working off 2 batteries, peak power technology. So this will just this will provide a stronger and more stable power output. But with this, has an aerodynamic fan design of maximum speed of 27,000 RPM, improved brushless motor, comes with the 2 amp hours in the kit with 2 turbochargers because they're individual batteries. The control lever is a digital display with a turbo button with lock on. What else can I tell you? More power, 60. It's equivalent to 60cc petrol engine. The runtime is up to 60 minutes on the 2x10s. But what we've also done is we've included an integrated heat sink for the PCB, so we're taking heat away from some of those sensitive, and as well as the PCB housing. So nice. It's a significant upgrade on our previous unit, which was actually a domestic model, but this is now a true commercial.
Okay, so I've got a curly question for that one, and I think it looks truly impressive. Putting it on my back and testing it's the next step to test that. But one of the gauges I've used when looking at backpack blowers before is the difference between air speed and air volume. So I think you said that's 1360 cubic meters.
1360 cube, yeah.
Yeah.
We always talk about push force.
Yeah.
Rather than blow speed as such.
Yep.
So it's more push force.
Yeah, okay. So that's going to push a noticeably harder than the handheld one that you've got at the moment. The
one right behind me at 1300 cube.
Yep.
So what's been interesting, Gaz, is that our true commercial at the moment is just a tad over 1,000 cube. And, of course, the feedback is, well, that's a true commercial at 1,000 cube, but you got a domestic at 1,300. So we know what we're going to go for. So we had to consider that when we were bringing out the commercial backpack, especially now that it's dealing with peak power.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be interesting to put that one under a bit of pressure and see how it goes clearing a car park. Because that's one of my jobs on a daily basis is spending a lot of time on a blower and clearing leaves and sticks out of car parks. And you need that extra oomph to really move sticks. It's all right moving leaves, but when you've got wet leaves or you've got sticks that you're moving as well, that's where you really notice it.
And that's why we talk to push force, because when you do have that wet debris, that stubborn debris, you need that push force to remove or to loosen it and blow it away.
Yeah.
All right. The best tool last, and that is our new brushless Select Cut XP self-propelled lawnmower. So this has been in the States now for a couple of years. It's been a challenge for us to actually release it into Australia because of the cost to convert and certification, etc. But we're now in a position to do it. What's great about this regarding our current Select Cut? Well, it's got a lot more power behind it. And we're talking close to 250 watts, but the Newton meters of torque is 11.3 versus its younger brother Select Cut at 9.5. The new XP will have...
That's competitive with all of the petrol machines.
Correct. Now, this is still a domestic unit, but we're still putting the 12-month warranty, commercial warranty on it. We don't feel it's we don't feel it's true commercial yet, but we know the commercial guys are going to buy it because of the increase in the motor wattage, but also the torque that comes with it as well.
Yeah,
but the way we've also kitted it up is it comes with either 110 or 210s. So that'll be available. We've also increased the height cuttings on it as well by an extra setting. So we're now offering on the XP a 25 to 105 mil cut as opposed to to our current unit at 25 to 90. But there's a whole heap of bells and whistles that come with it as well. So I guess all the features that the market knows with our Select Cut, with the variable speed self-propelled feed as well, the one-touch drive, LED headlights are still there. We've all the same blades fitted as well. So it's just an improvement in terms of motor, torque, and as well as height settings.
Yep. So that machine comes set up ready to mulch or bag the grass?
So it comes in cut only, but obviously you have the Gator style of mulching blades available as well.
Yeah, okay. So you can put a mulch plug in the back and you can change
the blades. Absolutely.
And you can change the blades over to mulch.
Exactly the same as our current Select Cut.
Yep. Awesome. Might
Yeah,
have to chase a
we
set of
think
gator
so.
blades.
Sorry,
I might have to chase a set of gator blades. So,
we got plenty.
so you consider gator blades to be true mulch blades?
I guess that's based on market feedback. If anything else, we had your standard bark mulching blades, and the difference between those and the gator was a lot more positive. So we've done a fair bit of testing over in the US and Europe, and even here, and we come to agree that the mulching is a lot better with the gator as opposed to the standards that we did have.
You're helping me to win an argument with a friend there. Thanks.
We won't talk about how much you're paying me to make that comment, but anyway.
No.
Something else we've been listening to the market on, Gaz, is when a mower's on a trailer and trying to keep it covered, from the elements, well, we're bringing out a mower cover as well. So, and it'll be branded Ego. So we're happy for anyone to put an Ego branded mower cover on any brand of mower as well if they feel that is going to help them along. Obviously, we would prefer it on our own mower, but either way, the branding will help us, mate. But awesome. That's just one of those little things we've been listening to the market about that they're asking for. So we're just trying to satisfy where we can as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
Last but not least, and I know there was a bit of fun had with a few on LMCA just recently, but for those who use their blowers on their vehicles or on their boats, on their motorbikes to dry it after washing it, we're bringing out a short stubby nozzle, which will help to reduce that distance, and prevent any touching of the Juco when you're doing this. So that's going to become available, and that's it's going to be able to fit all of our blowers, and it's another option to the Ego lineup.
That's great. But you know what? I'm guilty of doing that when I'm drying my bikes.
Yeah. Well, mate, I use, whenever I wash my car, I'm always using the blower to dry off the excess, and then dry rag it, right? So
yeah, it's great.
So that's
awesome.
That's basically what we're bringing out in 2023. So in terms of pricing and timing, watch this space.
Well,
but it's in 2023.
I'm excited for a number of those products. I'm looking forward to seeing when they're available.
Absolutely, we'll keep you informed. We'll keep the market informed.
So at the start of this podcast, I wanted to say thanks for being an early supporter of the podcast, and this is episode number 99 going to air.
So nice, well done, congratulations, mate.
Next episode is episode 100, and I've been promoting this for about 5 weeks now that I'm coming up to my 100th episode, and we're doing a bit of a giveaway for that 100th episode. So I want to say thanks for your contribution to that. You've thrown in one of the 1300 cube blowers for that, the blower kit.
We certainly have. So 1300 cube blower comes with the 2x5 as well as the rapid charger. So that retails at you've got me on this one. I think it's $849.
Yeah,
$849. Yep, $849.
Yeah, and that's a truly impressive blower. I've got it, and I'll love it.
Yeah, we're seeing that. Like, it's back to my point, mate. We've seen a drop in sales on our commercial blower because it's 1,014 versus this bad boy. That's 1,300. But it's got the lock-on dial as well. So once again, even though it's a domestic product, the lock-on dial is being put on there more for the commercial market. So that way you can set and forget and just handle it and control the speed and the trigger if you need to.
I've got a gripe about that lock-on dial. I accidentally bump it sometimes when it's just sitting in the back of my buggy. I bump the dial, and then all of a sudden I hear this whir of air coming up behind me, and I'm like, what's going on?
So is that when you're in between jobs, or?
Yeah, so I drive around a little Polaris Ranger EV buggy around my commercial sites, and that's, throw the tools in the back of that. And,
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, look, I guess that's unfortunate. I guess in between jobs, we actually suggest that batteries are clicked, not necessarily removed, but clicked, and that prevents any unfortunate startup on something like that. But we're improving that system as we go forward.
No, that's fair. But I think looking at different battery blowers, that's probably one of the features that I actually appreciate about the Ego, because there are battery blowers where you've got a power switch, you've got a power on, and then you pull the throttle trigger, whereas the Ego, you just pull the trigger and away you go. And that bugs me about other blowers, that you've got to power them on and off first.
Yeah. Well, I guess at the end of the day, one of our values is about providing solutions to the challenges in the power tool and OPE market, outdoor power equipment market, and we believe we're doing that. So do we always get it right? No, but, maybe we will on our second generation, but we think as a brand that's only really been in Australia for 7 years, we think we've done a fairly good job on the original or the first generations, and we're getting it even better on our fourth generation when it comes to mowers, etc. And I think the 1300 cube blower behind me is testament to that as well.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, Barry, I want to thank you a lot for coming on the podcast, and second time on. So, not a podcast virgin.
No, pleasure, mate, and I appreciate the opportunity. And once again, we look forward to just supporting the market in whatever needs it is. So, we've got a couple of channels that can be done. We've got a warranty portal. We've got Facebook. We've got the Facebook PM that they can come to us. Generally, Facebook PM and the warranty portal, we'll see that initially. But if it's a comment in any Facebook platform, we may not see it at all. And if we do, it could be delayed. So the most effective and efficient way is to come to us direct, and we can support you.
So when people are looking to buy your tools, most people will be able to find them at the big box stores.
Okay, so we have a store locator on our website, and look, our channel plans and strategy is that we're in power tool specialists because we know that market knows and appreciates battery. A key focus for us also is the mowing specialist as well. So when it comes to zero turns in the commercial market, they do very well in that particular segment. Then we're in some selective hardware stores as well. So, but we're not in Bunnings if you're talking big box.
No. So more talking like Sydney Tools, Total Tools.
Yeah, correct. Power trade tools, power tool specialists, and mowing specialists is one that we're certainly focusing on as well.
So you're getting into a growing range of lawn mowing specialist shops now. So Tinks is my go-to shop in Newcastle, and they've got the range of Ego tools there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, we've got across Australia in the major cities, not so much in Darwin and Tassie yet. But across the major cities, we try to offer a distribution that can cater for all. Regional becomes a little bit more challenging, but that's metro is where it's at the moment for our business.
So if there's any mower shops that are listening in, I know there's a couple that do listen to my podcast. Should they reach out to you if they don't currently support?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're certainly looking for advancing our quality distribution or expanding our quality distribution. So if there's a market there for that retailer, then certainly. Yeah,
sounds good. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I'm sure you're probably about to head off to watch State of Origin.
Oh, you know what? I don't think rugby's got enough contact in it, mate. I'm more of an AFL supporter. No, I say that in jest. No, we will be throwing it on. I'll be watching it with my young fella and a couple of beers, so and enjoying it. So, look, you gotta love the Aussie rules and the rugby, mate. So definitely be enjoying it.
I was a big fan of State of Origin when they started making it hard for people to get into fights on the field, and the cry was "Bring back the Biff."
Yes,
and it has been a little bit tame and a little bit lame since then, but that's still plenty of contact.
Yeah, you're right. No, I do enjoy the hard hitting rugby side of it, and when it comes to the AFL, unfortunately, a lot of that's been removed. Right, wrong, or indifferent, but I think it needed to be to a certain degree, but don't take too much away from it where it does become soft for both sports, right? That's why we enjoy it, because it's a full contact sport and there's skill in both. So respect both.
Yep, awesome. All right, have a good evening.
Good on you, Gaz. Thanks for your time, mate. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. Please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.
Ego Power Plus delivers petrol matching power just without the noise, fuss or fumes. Ego's industry-leading ARC lithium 56-volt battery technology delivers a new level of performance, giving you the dependable power you need to keep working hard until the job's done. The minute you try this revolutionary cordless system, you'll never look back. Comfortable to use with impressive runtimes and fast recharge, it offers the ultimate in convenience. There are no trips to the petrol station for fuel and no more having to store highly flammable liquids. Instead, you get the freedom to work exhaust and emission-free. For real flexibility, the same ARC lithium battery fits every tool in the Ego Power Plus range. Just click in the battery and you're ready to go. Further details can be found on our website at www.egopowerplus.com.au.